homeless housing.
Once that opens next year, you're going to see all sorts of cascading openings across the city of HHH housing.
The chair of the city's Homelessness and Poverty Committee and council member Mitch O'Farrell says HHH housing takes time to build. The measure passed in 2016. He says soon we'll see HHH-funded projects opening.
At a certain point over the next 3-4 years, we're going to have ribbon cuttings like every week because so many of these are going to come online at the same time. And that means we'll be housing thousands of people that did not have a roof over their head.
Proposition HHH sets out to build 10,000 new units of permanent supportive housing over the next 10 years. Over at City Hall, Councilwoman Nury Martinez welcomed California's first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, the wife of Governor Gavin Newsom, for an in-depth conversation on issues facing women and girls and how to empower them to be civically engaged and leaders in their communities.
Please help me welcome California's first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom.
Open up the newspaper, turn on the TV, you see how divisive we become. And some would say, oh, it's just the current administration. Well, no, I like to remind us that the president that we elected is a reflection of our cultural values. Right. Our reality show, lowest common denominator, cultural values. We have to look at our complicity in creating this culture that has become so horrifically xenophobic, bigoted, sexist, misogynistic, racist, and we can put a stop to it. I want to challenge all of you to utilize your brains and your strategic thinking and maybe even your rebelliousness into creating a new culture. A culture that is more inclusive, that is more loving, and defy all of those brands and manufacturers and tech companies and entertainment companies that are talking down to you as if you're not smart enough to not be consumed by or addicted to their product. Take power back into your hands.
It was an eye-opener for me, and I realized how much we need to fix our society, but I also realized how far we can come because of our youth.
You know, whatever it is, caring for an elderly family member, I think at the end of the day, we're all kind of like in this place in history maybe where we're recognizing what it is to ultimately deconstruct all these gender roles and ultimately be human.
I often say, you can't be what you can't see, and so we try to grab those girls and expose them to these careers, and I think having you here is amazing.
I enjoyed the conversation a lot because it included a topic about feminism and women empowerment, and I feel like we need a lot more of that.
Nearly 200 high school students attended the event. Do you want federal money flowing into your neighborhood for much-needed services? Of course, we all do. A big part of that depends on how many people get counted during the census. Los Angeles leaders already gearing up for the count in 2020. The kickoff began with a rally in Graham Park in downtown Los Angeles. Saida Pagan has the story.
What will we have?
Our fair share.
Let them hear you in the Southeast. What will we have?
Our fair share.
Let's get it.
It's called the Everyone Counts movement, and this Census 2020 Call to Action Day was just the start of a year-long effort to ensure that all LA residents will be counted.
Every single time you get one more person to fill out a census form, that's worth $2,000. And that's all we're asking for, is to get our fair share back. Not money that's Washington's, money we produced with our labor and our hard work that we send to Washington and that we demand in a democracy comes back to us. That's why we are here.
I count.
I count.
I count.
I count.
I count.
The stakes are high. Hundreds of millions in federal dollars are given to counties based on census data. In the past, LA lost more than $650 million because the population was undercounted.
That means less food on the table for families, CalFresh programs, Head Start programs, health services. It means our infrastructure dollars don't come back home.
Besides money, Los Angeles stands to lose congressional seats and political power if there is an undercount in 2020. Los Angeles County has well over 10 million people, and government officials say that alone makes it one of the hardest areas to count for census purposes. The focus now is on those who have traditionally chosen not to participate in the census: the homeless, low-income residents, and the immigrant population.
Our commitment is to go to the streets to say to our members, to our family, to our neighbors, that we need to make sure that we count, that we participate in this process that is coming in April 2020.
Los Angeles officials say they are leading the way in California by teaming up now with scores of community-based organizations, unions, and other government agencies. They say with greater support, they are confident that this time around, they will be able to raise awareness well before the final census count.
Some good news, the state of California has promised a $9.4 million grant to support public outreach in LA County. Well, he became famous for his portraits of musicians on album covers during the 1980s. And now the work of photographer Glenn Wexler is on display to take you back to a time of big hair and excess.
I'm Glenn Wexler. I'm a photographer, and we're here at Mr. Music Head Gallery in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard across from the Guitar Center. This is my show called the 80s Portrait Sessions, and it's an exhibition of photography, which is kind of a time capsule of the excess of the 80s and the celebrities that kind of wore the excess, and it's supporting my new book project, which is the 80s Portrait Sessions. It's really just kind of a cross-section of the people that I shot during that time period. It ranges from early in the decade with musicians like Chaka Khan, Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, who's on the cover of the book. I shot him in the early 80s, Michael Jackson from the mid-80s, and just kind of a range of other artists. The 80s was just a very unique moment in time. The economy was good, and it was a period of marketing excess. I started shooting album cover art when I was a student at Art Center College of Design, and the first project I shot was an album by the Brothers Johnson, who were produced by Quincy Jones Productions. That kind of opened the doors to the musical kingdom for me. It was like saying open sesame, and I got inside to like this very kind of exclusive world, and once I got in, I kind of never looked back. I began shooting a lot of album covers. I shot literally hundreds before I turned 30, and during that time period, I was commissioned mostly to do these very kind of elaborate narrative works, but it also gave me access to the musicians. I always wanted to kind of back away from the more complex type of epic album cover approach and do something just kind of, you know, up close, personal, intimate, and just really connect with the artist. There's really great stories behind every session and every artist. One of the things that I have in my book is I did small little anecdotes, just kind of memories about the session and what we were doing. For me, the exhibit was really a unique opportunity to go back to my archives. It was a chance to look at some files that I hadn't seen, some as old as 35 to 40 years. So it was really kind of a trip going down memory lane. What was interesting for me is now we live in this digital world of photography, but it was my analog experience, spending years and years in the darkroom as a master darkroom printer, that informed all my decisions in creating the images for the show. So even though the work is kind of quote-unquote digitally remastered, it's the analog world it's the traditional photography that informed the digital decisions for this work. So I got kind of the best of both worlds.
One man has turned riding the bus into a non-stop quest for social justice reform. Gil Reyes reports from El Pueblo in downtown.
More than 12 years and over 120,000 miles of bus trips has led to a BBC documentary, various other projects. Also, this exhibit in downtown Los Angeles that chronicles the plight of people struggling to get by.
So the exhibit we have right now is called Greyhound Diaries, and we worked with journalist Doug Levitt, who is a former foreign correspondent, so a journalist who spent about 12 years on and off riding the Greyhound bus. He, while he was writing, he would listen to people, listen to their stories.
Some of these tales of troubled travelers are documented in downtown LA's Museum of Social Justice. The museum's Jennifer Gutierrez gives us a tour. Vintage photographs.
Photos of Doug's travels
over the past 12
years, different, in different Greyhound stations. So it's really stories about people living on the edge, because that's who rides the Greyhound bus. The Greyhound is the cheapest way to travel if you want to travel long distances.
Levitt reported his stories using his own music. This led to a BBC documentary and book shining a light on income inequality in America. It's told through the loss of loved ones, the plight of undocumented immigrants, and the struggles of ex-felons readjusting to society. Here it's so much more personal, to see their faces.
And to personalize it, and then also I think then people can identify with it. Because not only do they can put a face and a story to an issue, but then also it might resonate with something that they've experienced or somebody they know who's had a similar experience as well. And I think that it really is the key to making change.
Get on board Greyhound Diaries. That's at LA's Museum of Social Justice at 115 Paseo de la Plaza at El Pueblo in downtown. The exhibit is free.
The Greyhound Diaries exhibit runs through May 26th. A new community basketball court is unveiled. Council District 9 connects residents to employers looking to hire, and a group of women are honored for their hard work. All this in City Beat. Students in Watts celebrated the opening of the new Clippers community courts at the shared campus of the U High School and Charles Drew Middle School. Councilman Joe Buscaino welcomed rapper and community activist Styx, whose impassioned support for the project was the driving force behind it becoming a reality.
I'm going after organizations and sports teams that represent and that back places from where I come from, and the faces that look like me that support those faces.
Empower LA held their 2019 awards banquet at City Hall. The annual awards recognize LA neighborhood councils who have been leaders in civic engagement and responsiveness to their community's needs. Council District 9 recently partnered with AAA for a job fair in South LA. AAA has many positions available and is especially interested in hiring local applicants.
A lot of our people are coming back and wanting to stay within their neighborhoods and work, and we have a plethora of jobs to be able to supply.
He was a labor leader and civil rights activist who dedicated his life standing up for farm workers' rights. Cesar Chavez fought for equal treatment, pay, and decent working conditions. His contributions were celebrated with some food and fun during a day of remembrance.
Let us bless this day, bless this community. Amen.
And we're just happy to be here with you celebrating the life of Cesar Chavez.
Today we're here at the Great Lock High School in South Los Angeles celebrating Cesar Chavez Day. It's a great opportunity for the community to come together and really celebrate our values of the dignity of labor, the dignity of community, and the dignity of citizenship.
Having an amazing time honoring the memory of Cesar Chavez. There is so much we can learn from him and from the life that he lived. He was a champion for labor, a champion for immigrants, a champion for equity. On issues of fairness and issues of equity, things that we still struggle to achieve in this country. And we are a great place, a great city, but we still have a lot of work to do. Now that he is no longer with us, it is our job to continue his legacy and the work that he did.
We appreciate you for bearing the spirit of Cesar Chavez. Congratulations, sir.
It really means a lot to the community here. There's not a lot of events that happen here, so we're very thankful for that. There's a lot of vendors, there's a lot of community members. The food is great, the music is great. You know, all the tables that you go to, there's resources.
I did not wake up this morning thinking that I would be at a wonderful event such as this one.
Come enjoy family, come enjoy fun, but most of all, come celebrate the tradition of activism.
Wishing everybody a wonderful Cesar Chavez Day, and si se puede!
Enjoy a lineup of features and shorts from Indian filmmakers. Check out a new exhibit highlighting the Harlem Renaissance, and find your next great read at the Festival of Books. All this and things to do. You're invited to attend the 17th Annual Indian Film Festival of Los Angeles. Enjoy a prestigious lineup of narrative and documentary features, shorts, and star-studded gala events. It's all happening at the Indian Film Festival of Los Angeles, April 11th through the 14th. The festival will take place at Regal LA Live at 1000 West Olympic Boulevard. For more details, visit indianfilmfestival.org. Discover the works of Harlem Renaissance photographer Kwame Brathwaite in a new exhibit entitled Black is Beautiful. This photo exhibit will include iconic images that amplified one of the most influential cultural movements of the 1960s. Black is Beautiful, the photography of Kwame Brathwaite, opens April 11th and runs through August of 2019. The exhibit will be held at Skirball Cultural Center located at 2701 North Sepulveda Boulevard. For more info, visit skirball.org. It's the country's largest celebration of its kind. The Los Angeles Times Festival of Books returns to write another chapter in the hearts of SoCal book lovers. Explore authors old and new with over 400 booths and tables, book signings, readings, and more. So grab your required reading wish list and head on down to the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books, happening April 13th and 14th beginning at 10 a.m. The festival will be held at the USC University Park campus at 1335 Truesdale Parkway. For details, visit events.latimes.com/Festival of Books. And that's a look at some things to do. That's it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more of LA This Week.
You're arriving at Los Angeles International Airport in beautiful Southern California. One of the first things you will see as you are landing is the ever-iconic LAX theme building. The LAX theme building is a modern icon and recognized worldwide as the space-age landmark of one of the world's youngest and most influential cities. Designed by architectural firm Piera and Luckman, the building was completed in 1961 and features an observation deck and the Bob Hope USO. The spider-like appearance of the building is a playful and futuristic design illusion, created by topping 4 steel reinforced concrete legs with stucco. The building received cultural historic status from the city of Los Angeles for its distinguishing characteristics, which are valuable to the study of that period's style and method of construction. It is also an example of mid-century modern Googie architecture. The LAX theme building serves as the symbolic gateway to Los Angeles, and the futuristic design is intended to convey new prosperity and the embrace of technological innovation. It has been and continues to be a constant reminder of Los Angeles' drive to be the city of tomorrow.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Los Angeles City Council. Today is Friday, April 12th, 2019, and this council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mr. Clerk, please, we have a quorum. Can you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonham, Buscaino, Cedillo, Harris, Dawson, Huizar, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Smith, and Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
Okay, let's go ahead and run through the agenda.
Approval of the minutes.
Okay, Mr. Smith moves and Mr. Rue seconds.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Okay, Mr. Krikorian moves and Mr. Huizar seconds. What's next?
Madam President, there is a request to continue item 1B to May 14. Again, that's 1B to May 14.
Okay, without objection, that will be the order.
Very good. And there's further a request to hold item 5 later when we get to that.
Okay, very well.
Item 1 is an item notice for public hearing. We do have cards.
Go ahead and hold those items.
Items 2 through 5 are items for which public hearings have been held. Again, there is a request to hold item 5.
Okay, let's go ahead and hold item 5. And members, are there any specials on these items before us? Let's go ahead and vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Madam President, that takes council back to presentations, item called special, or general public comment for items not on council's agenda.
Okay, let's go ahead and start with our first presentation. Mr. O'Farrell, Mr. Rue, are you ready?
Come on up. It is ours, right? It's ours, right? You want to fail?
Good morning, Mr. Rue.
Good morning, Madam President. Good morning, colleagues, and happy Arts Day, LA. As the new chair of the committee overseeing arts in Los Angeles, I am thrilled to lead this year's Arts Day LA. With the incredible Arts for LA organization, their executive director, Gustavo Herrera, their board chair, Winifred Neisser, and local LA artists, Roberto Uno and Quetzal Flores. We're also joined by Danielle Brazil, former head of the Arts for LA, and now General Manager for the Department of Cultural Affairs. The arts are central to Los Angeles. From visual art to dance and music, to the innovators and creators who push the boundaries, creatives help define our city. Words can't describe that magical moment when communities come together over local art. Whether it's a theater program at a neighborhood school, a utility art box program that adds unique color to our local streets, or a rap artist that builds his neighborhood. Artists just don't add to their communities, but they help build their communities. That's why we have Arts Day LA. Because when we lose the art, we lose the defining pillar of our humanity and our community. The arts help illustrate who we are and where we're going. They are the connective force of culture. And here in the creative capital of the United States, Los Angeles is proud to stand with the arts, to support local artists, and to ensure that every child and every community has access to arts in Los Angeles. With me to help celebrate this historic day is the Executive Director of Arts for LA, Gustavo, who has led the Maestro Foundation for Classical Music, the Plaza de Cultura y Artes in the Pueblo, and the Young Invincibles here in California. Born and raised in Los Angeles, Gustavo was tapped to lead Arts for LA in 2018. We are very lucky to have him. Gustavo Herrera.
Thank you, Council Member. Good morning, President Wesson, Madam Nury Martinez, and fellow City Council members. Councilmember Ryu and Councilmember O'Farrell, thank you for being champions of the arts. My name is Gustavo Herrera, and I'm the son of two El Salvadoran immigrants. My mother and father, my mom is a nanny, dad, lifelong blue-collar worker, both powerful child and arts advocates. I stand before you today as both a millennial and a person of color representing Arts for LA's board of directors, staff, and our terrific membership. Thank you to our incredible board, staff, and membership. Roberta and Quetzal, 1 million thank yous. City council members, we are living in a period of time in our nation's history that is filled with profound political and economic change. The city of Los Angeles, despite it all, continues to lead by example, driven by values and committed to progress. And fundamental to our city's values are the arts. This chamber understands the critical and vital role that the arts play in all aspects of our lives. Today, we recognize the Department of Cultural Affairs and this council. You are all committed to bringing arts experiences to our neighborhoods, programs, grants, opportunities, and services, whether it's the Community Arts Division Art Education Program, DCA's Performing Arts Program, current LA Food, or DCA's Public Art Program. Danielle Brazel and the DCA team and this council continue to make great progress operationalizing cultural equity in this city. However, Arts for LA is here urging you to do more. We're here asking you to think of a city-wide policy in the arts that prioritizes equity in a rapidly changing city. At Arts for LA, we're thinking deeply about two issues that advance equity that we want to share with you today. One, affordable creative spaces for the arts and artists. And two, equitable distribution of resources to arts organizations. Too often, Arts for LA hears directly from arts organizations or artists who cannot afford to serve their community or continue to live in this city as an artist because they can't afford it. We need more affordable spaces for artists and arts organizations. How does the city equitably distribute resources to districts who are filled with artists and creativity, but have limited cultural infrastructure? How can the city additionally support those districts to continue to strengthen the cultural infrastructure and the organizations who serve as treasured pillars in those communities? Lastly, Arts for LA membership is seeking more outreach and education on how to access opportunities like the Artist Development Fee. A public education on process, guidelines, accessibility are all critical to the community. And lastly, I want to say that we need to continue to celebrate our artists like Nipsey Hussle, who choose to utilize his platform his platform to bring the community together instead of apart. City Council, Councilmember O'Farrell, Councilmember Ryu, we thank you. To our sponsors, Ovation, SAG-AFTRA, KUSC, and Matt Construction, thank you for supporting this convening. Happy Arts Day, all.
Thank you, Gustavo. Next, I am proud to introduce Roberta Uno. She is a theater director and the director of Arts in a Changing America, which is a national project on changing demographics and the role of art in a multicultural America. I'd like to invite her up to say a few words. Roberta Uno.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak about cultural equity. I want to recognize the incredible work of Arts for LA, the LA Arts Commission, and the DCA in advancing this work here in LA and nationally. A landmark report by the National Committee on Responsive Philanthropy quantified that organizations with budgets over $5 million represent 2% of the arts sector, and yet they receive over half of all arts dollars. And only 10% of arts funding goes to organizations that explicitly benefit communities of color. So let me tell you what this means. I visited Jose Luis Valenzuela, who runs the Latino Theater Company and the LATC. And behind him was a big sheet of paper with names and amounts of money, $1,000, $2,000. He said to me, I have to raise $300,000 every year for operations. And my question is, why should a 50-year-old Latino theater in a city and state where Latinos are the majority have to raise basic operating costs year to year? This is one of our national treasures of a theater. In LA, there are at least 8 other similar diverse arts organizations who operate facilities. They're 30 years or older, like Lula Washington Dance, JACCC, and Self-Help Graphics. These are the cultural anchors of this city. They are grounded in the beautiful, diverse communities and demographics of our LA. From my experience as the director of Art Change Us, and my experience at the Ford Foundation, where I ran the arts portfolio, and 40 years as a woman of color theater director, I fully support Gustavo's suggestions and recommendations. And if you'll indulge me, I'd like to add 2 more. Please consider supporting the incredible cultural anchors of this city, these culturally rooted organizations, through multi-year organizational funding. And please support efforts that create an ecology of equity, that don't favor competition over collaboration. So for example, the Arts Commissioner of New York City recently was able to change the ticket admission policy of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And they're now charging out-of-town visitors. This has resulted in a $2.8 million fund that is going directly to augment diverse organizations' budgets. On April 17th, next week, Art Change Us is convening a Cultural Equity Summit. We are bringing together the heads of arts agencies from LA, San Francisco, Seattle, Oakland, and New York City, as well as LA organizations and private philanthropy. We sold out the 200-seat theater within less than a week of announcing. And so we have moved to the larger JACCC Aratani Theater. The response has been amazing across all budget sizes and types of organizations. To me, it shows that our arts field wants to be part of a shared future. I hope you will help us get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. We now also have with us a Grammy Award winner, musician and activist, Quetzal Flores. Quetzal is a Chicano artist and activist who grew up in Northeast Los Angeles, who started playing the electric guitar when he was 13. And in 1993, he co-founded the rock band Quetzal. In 1997, he was a founding member of the East LA group Big Frente Zapatista, and he has been an iconic leader in East Los Angeles for community activism and songwriting for over 2 decades. I am also proud to have gone to the same high school, Wilson Magnet Medical, and I don't know if you knew that, but today he is the Director of Arts and Culture at the East Los Angeles Community Corporation and is here to tell us more about his work. Quetzal?
Okay, so I'm going to start by saying that art and culture are inseparable and symbiotic resources that live at the essence of community vitality and transformation. Artistic and cultural practices are sites for the facilitation of power and cooperation. And so I'm going to ask for your participation back here, okay? I need everyone to say art is really loud, and I'm going to keep repeating things. And every time I lift my hands, you say art is, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Art is. An exercise in exploration and error. Art is. a crucible for developing problem-solving strategies of the utmost importance to aggrieved communities.
Art is.
A mirror, a reflection reminding people that they are not alone and they are beautiful.
Art is.
A lesson in history, math, and science all at the same time.
Art is.
The consummate lesson in working within parameters.
Art is.
The consummate lesson in limitless dreaming.
Art is.
Constantly experiencing failure and learning to overcome it.
Art is.
Rehabilitation.
Art is.
Remembering humanity in yourself and others.
Art is.
Therapeutic, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Art is.
An antidote to solitude, a practice that is often conducted alone but never in isolation.
Art is.
A storehouse of collective memory.
Art is.
A site of moral instruction.
Art is.
A way of calling communities into being.
Art is.
An exercise in being oppositional and propositional.
Art is.
A transmitter of shared experiences, aspirations, and values.
Art is.
A practice in seeing and solving problems.
Art is.
Restoring the past and enacting a future.
Art is.
Imagining and acting.
Art is.
Learning and understanding what moves people.
Art
A
is.
conduit of connectivity and collectivity that builds social cohesion through collaboration.
Art is.
An expression that which cannot be put into words and which cannot remain silent.
Art
A
is.
reflection of the world and also a reconstruction of it.
Art is.
Something that wakes people up by offering glimpses of what might be to be fully alive, what it might be to be fully alive, empowered, and liberated.
Art is.
Devastatingly underfunded and inequitable. Okay, so I prepared a couple of verses for y'all. Los colores atrapan, pintor chicano entre historias y sueños, entre historias y sueños que no tienen dueño. Allá arriba, allá arriba, allá arriba, allá arriba sus manos van, iluminan contrastes que vibrarán, que vibrarán, que vibrarán. Ahí les digo, ahí les digo, ahí les digo y les digo con humildad que el arte es esa esencia, que el arte es esa esencia que para... Perdón, va, otra vez. Ahí les digo y les digo, ahí les digo y les digo con humildad que el arte es esencia, que el arte es esencia para la humanidad. Allá arriba, allá arriba, allá arriba, allá arriba, allá arriba. Iré, yo no soy del concilio. Yo no soy del concilio, nunca seré, nunca seré, nunca seré.
Wow, what a treat. Wow, thank you, Quetzal. That was an amazing, didn't expect that. Thank you so much. Now, without further ado, I am proud to present the city resolution to Arts for LA, declaring April 12th as Arts Day LA 2019. Thank you, Madam President. And members, we invite everyone to join us on the spring steps for photos if you wanted to join. And thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Root. Don't go away. I just want to invite everyone. I know that the Arts Department with the City of LA has been very, very instrumental in helping us in the Valley with our 3rd annual Van Nuys Arts Festival, which I want to invite everyone to. It's in September. It's September 27th. From 5 to 9 at the Van Nuys Civic Center, and it's turned into this beautiful, beautiful celebration of culture and arts for the Valley. It's something that's very important to all of us. I've come from an artist family and an artist background, so it just gives me so much pleasure to collaborate with so many of artists in the Valley and so many artists throughout Los Angeles, quite frankly. So I want to invite everyone to come out to the 3rd annual Arts Festival in September 27th. in Van Nuys at the Van Nuys Civic Center. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to rise to thank Councilman Ryu for bringing this great presentation today, and everybody that's with us here to advocate for the arts. In a city as rich as LA, it's easy for us to take the arts for granted. It's all around us. We see it everywhere. But one of the things that you all pointed out today that I want to highlight and make sure we as a city pay attention to, for a lot of young people, art is their portal into mainstream life. For a lot of our kids, school just doesn't work. Sitting in a chair, listening to someone talk, write on a chalkboard, that doesn't work. But doing art lets them communicate who they are to the world, and it lets them interact with the world. And so it's an absolutely essential element to having the kind of communities that we all deserve. And a big, warm thank you and appreciation for all the kind words that you all had to say about the 8th District's Nipsey Hussle and the big service that you saw yesterday through the streets of this city. But it's just, again, a shining example of how art gives you a way of communicating with the world. So thank you all so much.
Mr. Koretz. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to follow up Marquise's comment, just to point out that it's so important to have the arts in school, because there are a lot of things that connect or don't connect with kids and keep them in school and keep them interested. And if you can find that one thing, it may lead to a successful career that might not have happened otherwise. And it might not be in the arts, but if the arts kept them interested and kept them motivated and gave them a reason to stay in school, there's nothing that could be more important. And their career could be in the arts as well, but it's what keeps people interested. So if it's music or arts or sports, it's not that that one thing by itself is so important, except it's what draws them in. So beyond just the obvious importance of the arts, the more we do with arts in the schools, the more we do with arts for our young people, the more impact it can have positively on their lives. And we don't really know how many thousands of kids have stayed in school to participate in arts programs, but we know, we don't know the exact number, but we know it has a critical impact, and I thank you all for everything that you do.
Mr. Price?
Madam President, I just want to thank you, Councilman Ryu, and our arts advocates for being here today. So important that we talk about the importance of arts in our community, not just for youth, but for adults. We know the educational component is very real and very necessary. And let me just also point out that the arts is a tool for economic development at all levels. And so we just know that the arts plays an important part in our society, in our culture, in our economic growth. And so we just appreciate your efforts, and let's work together to make it even bigger. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Krikourian?
Thank you very much, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Ryu, for once again bringing the champions of the arts together to celebrate this day with us in City Hall. And I also want to, of course, acknowledge our incredible General Manager, Danielle Brazil, for all the work that she does, not just for the big things that matter to culture, but for the little things, the neighborhood things, the educational things that really are the lifeblood of arts and culture in our community. And I was kind of moved by what Mr. Koretz said about arts education and how that glaring gap that we still have, and how much difference that makes in people's lives, whether they pursue the arts or not. When I was in the school board in Burbank, we adopted a K-12 comprehensive arts curriculum across all genres in every grade level, and it is the sort of thing that brings people into education and keeps them connected with their education. And some child who has a passion about one particular thing in the arts but doesn't care about school otherwise, that may be the difference in whether or not they stay in school and continue to succeed in life or not. That one hook. And it's so important, and we've so neglected it in our schools. But I also wanted to thank all of you who came here today and talked about equity and how important this is, because Los Angeles is known throughout the world for so many things that we do really extraordinarily well culturally. But we need to be known for what we do at the very grassroots level as well, with the small organizations in neighborhoods. In my district, I have the honor of representing the NoHo Arts District. And so in my district, we have some of the finest recording studios, professional dance studios anywhere in the world. And we have the greatest name artists who come there to record and perform. But I'm equally proud of representing New Directions for Youth, which just cut the ribbon on a professional recording studio and dance studio for the most vulnerable kids in our neighborhoods who don't have access to arts otherwise. My district is the home to some of the great murals anywhere in Los Angeles, including the Great Wall of Los Angeles, the longest mural in the world by Spark and Judy Baca. We have The Old Lady of the Freeway by Kent Twitchell at LA Valley College, which was saved. And I'm proud of those things. But I'm also proud of the work done by Muralism, a new nonprofit started by Ernie Merlin to bring kids with special needs into painting murals and help them to be able to participate in art that way. I'm proud of the work that this council has done to preserve film and television production here in Los Angeles and make sure that we continue to have the professionals in the film industry able to work where they live, right here in Los Angeles. But I'm equally proud of creating the Los Angeles Student Film Festival so that kids in high schools throughout Los Angeles County who maybe have never picked up a camera before might be able to find their voice through the arts. And so this important message that you've left us about equity, I hope that we'll take with us, and all of us will take up the challenge of working closely with you to ensure that we continue to make sure that the arts thrive at every level of our society here in Los Angeles. So thank you all very much for being with us, and thank you for your continuing advocacy.
Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. Ms. Rodriguez?
Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Ryu, and all the arts advocates for helping to remain that constant voice that assures that we never neglect the opportunity to provide that outlet for our youth. You are such an important catalyst for how we actually transform our neighborhoods, not just through the activism and engagement with our youth that are looking for different types of outlets, but you are part of the revitalization of our neighborhoods. You know, when I look at Mural Mile or when I think of the artisans that in so many different mediums are helping to transform the Northeast San Fernando Valley, I continue to be inspired and awed by the incredible gifts and talents that you all lend to helping to weave this beautiful fabric that we have here in Los Angeles. So I just want to thank you all for your continued advocacy. I want to thank you for helping to create an outlet for our youth in particular, and I look forward to our work together as we continue to expand those opportunities for our youth through the arts, because that's an important opportunity for them to not find illicit activities or other activities that they would otherwise be involved in. This is a chance for everyone to find their gifts and to express themselves in meaningful ways. I know for me it was the musical theater arts that I was most attracted to as a youth, kept me straight. And I know it's a really important part of all the diversity of outlets that our kids need. So I just want to thank you all so much. Thank you for your creative energy and for making Los Angeles even brighter because of the gifts that you provide. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Madam President. The arts have done a hell of a lot for me, too, although unlike Ms. Rodriguez, they did not keep me straight. I want to...
And that's a good thing. That's a great thing, Mr. Bonin.
I want to thank you, Mr. Ryu, for doing this, and I want to talk about how much I really appreciate that we get to do this every year. I mean, we celebrate the arts every day in Los Angeles, but this is a special day to do it. And you know, I'm so lucky because there's such an arts culture sort of baked into my district. But as much as we have, you know, things like the Getty in my district, and as much as, you know, I can go to an opening of a new David Hockney show at LA Louvre, the art that gets me excited in my district is the art that's on the graffiti walls at Venice Beach, and it's the art that you get to see at student displays at some of our schools, and it's the art that's now popping up all around the city on the utility box murals. And I've been so stoked in my district that so many of the artists who are doing it are young people. High school students have actually created some of the most amazing stuff in my district. And that happens not just in painting, but it's happening in music, it's happening in theater, it's happening in performance. But I also wanted to note that as much as arts is a celebration, it's also a fight. And I think everybody in this room knows it's a fight. And just this morning, as I was looking at my briefing memo and remembering we were doing this today, I saw on Facebook that one of Judy Baca's iconic murals, her freeway mural, Hitting the Wall, which celebrated the Olympics, has been completely painted out by Caltrans. And that's a shame, and that's a crime. And I want to add my voice to the voices in the artistic community calling on Caltrans to fix that and get that restored. And if you were to coordinate a letter on that, I bet you get a hell of a lot of signatures around this horseshoe. And I'm happy to do that, and I'm happy to call Caltrans as well. Our arts belong in every neighborhood in Los Angeles, and creating new stuff is tough enough. When we lose the stuff that has been iconic and which has inspired so many people, it's really a shame, and I'm happy to join you in calling for it to be preserved.
Mr. Ru, that concludes speakers on our queue. Thank you very much. And Mr. Koretz, are you ready for your presentation, sir? You brought a special guest? And who do you got? How do you have here, Mr. Koretz?
Well, I am today substituting for Mr. Wesson and doing Dog Adoption Friday. And we have a wonderful, very sweet dog named Candy. She's 1 year old, and she is a Terrier Doxy mix. Very sweet. And this is a chance to save her life. So this one's very adorable. She wags her tail anytime she sees anybody, as I've seen the few minutes I have known her. Oh, look at you. And so hopefully someone will grab her while they're here in City Hall today, or call in later for her. So just for an ID, her ID is A1827320. And for information on adopting her, you can call 888-452-7381. But she is the sweetest little thing. And so don't miss your chance to save this animal's life. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. Koretz, why don't you show her to the audience? Like, make sure everyone gets a good look at her.
Okay, one more time.
Turn around.
Oh.
Our audience out there, here, our live audience. This is Candy. Hope someone can take her home today. Thank you, Mr. Koretz.
So anyone that wants the cutest dog ever, she will be in back if she is not already adopted. Look. Thank you.
just go ahead and go to multiple speaker cards. Herman, are you here? Armando Herman? He's not here? Okay, let the record reflect that Mr. Herman, I've called and he is not in the room. Next speaker is Wayne Spindler. Mr. Spindler is not in the room as well. Sean Murphy, are you here? Come on up, Sean. Sean, it looks like you filled out a card for item number 1 in general public comment.
I also filled out on 5.
Okay, go ahead.
Number 5, I'm against. Gee, damn, look at all these liens on this agenda. God. Okay, general public comment.
Okay, give him his one. Hold on for just a second. Go ahead.
We need to keep the sidewalks clean. Streets need to be fixed. A week from Wednesday, celebrating my 55th birthday. Thank you. A week from Wednesday.
Wednesday's your birthday?
A week from Wednesday.
A week from Wednesday,
24th.
okay. Very well. Thank you, Sean. Next speaker is Eric Previn. Mr. Previn, are you in the room? Yeah, 1 and 5 in general public comment. These are.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Previn, you're speaking on item 1 and number 5 in general public comment. Go ahead.
Right. Well, first of all, the liens. That's item number 1 on your agenda for today, your city council meeting agenda. I want to congratulate Mr. Buscaino for pulling what we call a 5K, because what he has done is we're going to give him credit. He hasn't quite got the lien up to 5,000. He's got the highest lien today among all the council districts, and he's got another one in backup. But it was close, so we're giving him credit. It was $4,939. So in our book, that's a 5K. Now, in second position, and I am a little conflicted on this, we are dealing with Paul Krikorian. We have a $3,682 lien against a resident in our neighborhood on Kittredge. The details are a little murky, but we're hoping that we can work. You know, we are in a homeless crisis, so I know that Bonin is aware of the fact that we're trying not to perniciously go after folks. That said, in third place is David Rue at $2,969, which is a fairly decent lien for his, but he is productive. He is very productive when it comes to generating liens in his area, as is Mr. O'Farrell, who today we're a little bit disappointed we don't see any. Jumping to item 5 before we run out of time, I just want folks to understand that when you correct things that are dense and complicated on the fly, as you did today, there's a little posting, it raises questions. I mean, I must say, I don't know of a human being who in this short period of time, without a full setup, could, comprehend where the revisions are, because there's no underlining or explanation about what's revised. So amazing amounts of MICLA financing, ITA programming, all this, not programming as in television, but like spending money on stuff is murky and hard for the public to access. That's why I ask that you properly make these things available. Now, today there's no meeting agendas again. Instead, there was some LA Express, is that a newspaper, on the stand where they're supposed to be. Please get that.
Can you have your 1 minute of general public comment?
In general public comment, it's nice to see you today, Council President Martinez, in for the acting, the chair, Mr. Wesson. But I'm requesting a correction because yesterday, unfortunately, Wednesday, during the city council meeting, he alleged that we had submitted a community impact statement on the complicated campaign finance matching funds, which is 1269 S5. So sorry to have to do that. But what he did was he said that we had submitted it over a year ago and that it was not applicable to what was on the agenda. We looked at that, and in fact, that's dead wrong. It was published on September 20th and then September. So he can't go around, and then he called the public who brought it to the attention on behalf of the Studio City Neighborhood Council that he accused the public of speaking BS, which I believe is a colloquial expression, totally inappropriate from a seated chair. So we would request a correction on that. Never mind the fact that there were some other issues that were very dense and hard, even for the LA Times to report accurately. So I appreciate your bringing that to his attention and issuing that immediately, because we're really, Studio City Neighborhood Council deserves to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Madam President, for item number 5, there have been amending motions that have been circulated and posted and are before council for its consideration.
Very well. The next speaker is Farid Yagader. Farid, are you here? Sir, you're speaking on items 1B, item 5, and general public comment?
Yes, I believe the matter was continued, I think
Yes, it was.
I can solve what needs to be solved on this lien. I think there's a duplicate, so I just wanted to thank the council members, and perhaps we could get this resolved by the next hearing date.
Very well. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Arnold Sachs. Mr. Sachs, are you here? Doesn't seem to be in the room. Mike Greenspan? Mike Greenspan, are you here?
Right here, ma'am.
Mike Greenspan is not here.
I signed up as Mike
Herman,
Greenspan.
sit down. I haven't called your name. I called your name and you were not in the room. Is Arturo Villanueva here? Do you want to come up? You're speaking on item 1I?
I'm Arturo Villanueva, civil engineer. I'm representing the, in his presence, represented by Marian Koo. And I'm against, she said, she's against the lien of the property.
Sir, your item has been received and filed because of the change of the ownership, so there will be no lien.
Can you answer that?
I'm not sure if you were notified that, but I can have someone speak to you. This gentleman right here can speak to you.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Charles, can you talk to this gentleman, please? Thank you. Danae Jordan, are you here? This appears to be the same item 1I.
8404 Joan Lane.
Was this the same
West
item the
Hills?
gentleman was just speaking
Yes.
about? Okay, I need you to speak to the gentleman that he's speaking to.
Okay.
This item has been received and filed because of the change of ownership, so there is no lien. But you might want to get that clarified with the gentleman on the side.
Okay, the lien notice was actually sent to me, who is the new owner.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
Why don't you have speak to the Ms. Charles? Can you wave your hand up? I'm going to have you speak to him. Thank you, ma'am. Is Jim DeWood here? Jim DeWood? Jim DeWood, are you speaking on item 1C? Person's not in the room. Let's move on to general public comment. Terry Borland, are you here? Do you want to come up? Followed by Estela Valenzuela and Ronnie Garcia.
How you doing?
Good
My
morning.
name is Terry Borland,
and my family and I live near MacArthur Park in the Councilmember Joe Cedillo's district. I took the morning off to make sure that you all know the motion to ban digital rooftop advertising would negatively affect real people like me and have real repercussions. It is the definition of an overreach. Digital rooftop advertising allows drivers of commercial vehicles to supplement their monthly incomes by placing advertisement on their cars. Why is this so bad? What about this needs to be criminalized? All of us drivers, both rideshare and taxi, are at risk. Did you know that Bloomfield's motion allows for the following: vehicle impoundment, misdemeanor for the driver, and a fine up to $1,000 and even imprisonment up to 6 months? Please let common sense rule and stand with the Angelenos who are working hard and making a living driving.
Thank you. Next speaker is Estela Valenzuela. Can I have you guys line up, but if I call your name, please? Is Estela Valenzuela here? Estela's not in the room. Ronnie Garcia, followed by Robert Miles. Is Robert Miles here? Robert Miles is not in the room. How about Antonio Jaimes? Can you please come forward? Good morning, Mr. Garcia. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Ronnie Garcia, and I live in the council member use district and work across Los Angeles and rideshare driver. I have been I've been to taxi meetings and transportation committee hearings where the issue of repealing taxi rule 415 has been talked about. What is not being talked about is that LAPD has been directed to begin enforcing against all vehicles that with signs, and this will have significantly unintended consequences. It will criminalize a number of commonplace activities, industries, including pizza delivery drivers and rooftop signs, food trucks with anything attached, even LA Lakers and national flags, and personal cars window, not mentioning the Firefly rooftop advertising. The rideshare driving committee has already been phased wage cut downs recently. The motion further cuts our wages 20%, and we can continue to lose more income. And please vote this measure to protect our rights to earn a living.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Antonio Jaimes. Is Zach Strazzers here? Do you want to come up? Blanca Saceta? Blanca? Good morning. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. My name is Antonio Jaimes, and I'm here today this morning with Arms of LA to keep our community safe and keep our industries and employment opportunities strong. Jobs created by the oil and gas industry benefits people across California and across many diverse ethnic and class backgrounds. When it comes to health concerns, I encourage you to look at other health-related impacts on residents like those exposed to flight paths, freeways, and power lines. Don't narrow in on industries that support this economy and provide good wages. Thank you.
Next speaker, hold on, let me call a couple of more speakers. Blanca Ramirez, are you here? Blanca Ramirez, how about Blanca Saceta? Person's not here. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. My name is Zach Strassers with Arms of LA. We work to assist at-risk youth, veterans, the homeless, and anyone in need of a second chance. Excuse me. The jobs created by the oil and gas industry provide benefit people from across California, across many diverse ethnic and class backgrounds, including individuals who want to have good-paying middle-class jobs. Don't eliminate these good-paying jobs for local residents, as well as for potential future workers in the industry, such as members of our organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Antonio Ramirez.
One moment, ma'am. One moment.
Thank you very much. Build the wall, shut the border,
finally put a nail on the coffin and send shockwaves that President Donald Trump means business. Stop invading Los Angeles and America. No more filthy, ugly, nosy, violent come caca, wicked gang-stalking thieves with weapons, drugs, infested, and rapists, pedophiles, and homicidal Chango, Latino, wetbacks, and gangbangers who have terrorized American citizens. So kill the ACLU and the Ninth Circuit appeals. Kill the fucking FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and Homeland Security, and all the wetbacks and gangbangers. And kill all the perverted, Masonic, Jewish, Zionist, and twisted, satanic, elite assholes. And kill Eric Garcetti and City Attorney Michael Feuer for creating an unlawful safe haven sanctuary and also committing crimes against humanity. Again, deport these Chango, Latino, gangbanging, ugly pigs, pussies, and thieves. We love ICE and LAPD Chief Michael Moore. Stop licking all the nigger asses.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. Your time is up. Thank you very much. Next speaker is Red Chief. Are you here? Anybody here with this name? Red Chief? Najee Ali? Followed by Dr. Lisa Banks Ali.
Good morning, Madam Chairperson, distinguished members of the City Council. My name is Najee Ali, Director of Project Islamic Hope, longtime South LA activist. I'm here this morning in support of the expected motion by Councilman Marquise Harris Dawson in support of Ermias Nipsey Hussle Astrodome Square. Okay. We are in full support of our councilmen, and thank you for your bold and progressive leadership on this issue. We have a community that's in mourning, and as the creator of a petition that has garnered over 500,000 signatures worldwide, those signatures are in support of the intersection being named honorary in Nipsey Hussle's honor, because for us, Nipsey was a gentrification fighter, an activist, and an artist. He was Crenshaw and Slauson. So thank you, Councilman, for your leadership on this issue.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Dr. Lisa Banks Ali, followed by Khalid Ali Alim. Are you here?
I'm here. Good
How
morning.
About, hold on, let me call a couple of more names.
Okay.
Are you Khalid?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about Ventig Rodej? Anybody here with that name? Sarita Johnson? You can please make your way up. Good morning. Go ahead, Dr. Ali.
Good morning, Madam Chairperson. I'm here in support of the motion that will be proposed by Councilmember Harris Dawson regarding the intersection of Slauson and Crenshaw having the erection of Aramis, Ascadon, Nipsey Hussle Square. And the reason I stand here in support of that is because Nipsey Hussle represents the past, the present, and the future of not just Los Angeles, but those nationwide and around the country, around the world, actually globally. And those that are in other countries, because I'm former military and I speak with them, they listen to and they have been very, very much impressed by and very much in support of this as well, and Nipsey Hussle. Though when young people see that as they drive through that intersection, if they forget who they are for one moment, they can look up at that circle, at that square, and see that name and remember who they are. Thank you
very much. Hold on for just a second. I called Sharita Johnson. Are you here? Okay, thank you. How about Shannon Sherry Zell? How about Shannon C? Would that be the same person? Shannon Sherry Zell and Shannon C. Are you the same person? Okay. How about Olivia Winfrey? Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Khalid Al-Alim. I am the president of Park Mesa Heights Community Council and also co-director of Friends of Park Mesa Heights. And I'm here in support of naming the intersection of Crenshaw and Slauson after Nipsey Hussle. I want to thank the Councilman Harris Dawson for putting that forward. I want to thank all those activists involved in making sure that that got done. First of all, my condolences to the family, and I'm wishing them peace and strength. And I want to let everybody know that this is not just the cherry and the whipped cream. We got to make sure that we deal with the underlying causes that created this situation in the first place. As a father of 5 and 1 young son, and as a resident of Hyde Park for 30 years, I'm sick and tired of seeing the same thing. So I ask you to support us, the community councils, the organizations that are doing the grassroots work, to make sure that we support the arts, that we support Destination Crenshaw, that we support economic development in our community.
Next speaker. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello. I am so honored and humbled to be able to speak on behalf of Emeritus Nipsey Hussle Ashtadam. He was so authentic and genuine, and the love he showed for Los Angeles was uncanny. He never forgot where he came from and remained immensely immersed in the city and always gave back. I am in full support to name Crenshaw and Slauson Nipsey Hussle Square. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Shannon Cherry Ezell, and not only am I a public servant here in the great city of Los Angeles, but I am also a native and an active community member. Oftentimes we hear of the negative things that happen around the city, but one of the positive things we began to witness was the evolution of Nipsey Hussle. So I am in support of renaming Crenshaw and Slauson Nipsey Hussle Square. Thank you.
Ma'am, give me just a second. I'm going to call a couple of more speakers. Cedric Ingram II, you want to come on up? Ebony Lee? Ebony Lee, are you here? How about Clark Smith? You want to come on up, Mr. Smith? Or is it the same one person? Okay. How about April Banks? Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. I would just like to say that I would like to go ahead and say that Nipsey Hussle has did a lot for the neighborhood, for his community. I am in honor of naming the intersection of Slauson and Crenshaw Nipsey Hussle Circle, or Nipsey Hussle Square.
Good morning, distinguished council members. My name is Cedric Ingram II. I'm a community member of Crenshaw District, specifically between Crenshaw and Overhill. My family's been there for over 50 years. Nipsey Hussle, Ermias Ashkadan, really didn't just speak about changing the mindset of our community, but he spoke on, or he didn't just speak on it, but he demonstrated it. And you can take the lyrics of his music, some of them, being whatever they are, but the main message that always came through was demonstrating generational wealth. He's did that on Slauson and Crenshaw, and I think he deserves to have his name on that street, not just for himself or but for the people who support him, as you've seen yesterday and over the last couple weeks. The droves of people that come out here and support him, it's not for nothing. I've never seen this. I'm 29 years old. I wasn't around for Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, but I was around for Nipsey Hussle, and I would like to see his street become his name.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is April Banks. I am here in support of the dedication of Crenshaw Slauson as the Nipsey Hussle Square. I am a designer for Destination Crenshaw team as well as a visual artist, and it's been my privilege to work with artists, members of the community, and our huge team to honor the accomplishments, history, and culture of Crenshaw. As the content strategist, it is my job to listen. This past week, I've been listening to the love and grief for Nipsey Hussle. Let's honor and continue the work he started. He represents commitment to community and an example of entrepreneurship. We have a duty to support our youth, their creativity, and brilliant minds. Thank you, Council Member, for your leadership and dedication.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ebony Lee Yolanda Clark Smith. I'm not from the LA community. I actually just got off a plane to come here from Oakland.
and I am in support of this proposal for the name change. Nipsey Hussle, Hermes Ashmedon made an impact on this world. Everyone witnessed that yesterday. I actually had the privilege of being present for the Vector 90 launch not too long ago, and that is a STEM center for the kids in this community. But Nipsey Hussle contributed so much worldwide. It's not just LA. Every time I encountered him and his team, it was always positive. He spoke about generational wealth, but he provided jobs for his community and other communities.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you very much for being here. Okay, the next speakers are Tarika Preston. Are you here? Followed by Via Champ, Carmiel McDoo, Tyrone Turner, and DeAnthony Langston. If you can please line right behind the podium. Thank you. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. I am Tarika Preston. I'm here to celebrate the late great Nipsey Hussle. As we all are here to dedicate Slauson and Crenshaw as Hermes Nipsey Hussle Square as a reminder for change of the culture, society, and community.
Good morning. My name is Via Champ. I'm a constituent of CD8, a longtime resident, and my family has a history of over 55 years in the area. I am in support also of renaming Crenshaw and Slauson after Nipsey Hussle. I had an opportunity to work with him at the Chaka Khan Foundation and just learned yesterday that I work with his mother also in the community. He has done wonderful things, and I think this will be a catalyst to change, and I am in full support of my councilman's motion, and I'd like to see the renaming. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Cadmiel McAdoo. First and foremost, thank you, Council, for holding this. I'd just like to say that I know I'm here on behalf of a lot of people who couldn't be here. And born and raised in LA, right off of Vermont, in 36. I've been there before. It was burned down and created into, what it is now. So I've been a part of the story of Los Angeles, and Nipsey, not only did he demonstrate that, but he embodied that. And the leadership that sits here at council, he embodies this leadership as well. And it's important that we continue to demonstrate that, and by designating Crenshaw and Slauson as Nipsey Hussle Square, just allows us to continue to reflect that. And just one last thing, if I could, the United States is the leader of the world as we know it, and Los Angeles is the center of the United States, and South Central is the center of Los Angeles, and so what we do impacts the whole world. So,
thank you very much, sir. Your time is up. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Council. My name is Tyrone Turner. I'm a resident. I was born and raised in the Nickerson Garden Housing Projects in Watts, and I'm here in support of my councilman, Marquise Harris Dawson, in full support of the Nipsey Hussle Square. My mother is 74 years old, and she was so touched by all the attributes that he contributed to our communities. Now she wants me to buy her a Crenshaw shirt. Yeah. And I will do that. A real one, online, by the way. I might even take her to the store. She would probably like that better. But I'm here in full support. Nipsey's death is not in vain. He sparked a match. A lot of people are talking about continuing his marathon, and we are here to support him. Thank God. Bless you all.
Next speaker.
Good morning. My name is DeAnthony Langston. I was born and raised as well in Nickerson Gardens with the Vermont Day High School. I'm full support in renaming it. I met Nipsey about a year ago, downtown Los Angeles. I work at Los Angeles Job Corps. And my students wanted me to get a picture with them, and I just didn't want to. I'm an athlete, so a little pride in me, and they begged me to, so I did. And I started talking to him, and I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how sincere he was, how passionate he was. And he just jokingly started calling me Mr. Langston because the kids were doing it. And then I found out he was working with guys in the projects where I grew up at, helping them out. And one thing as an older person that I understand now, because I was a part 92 riots, that we have something special right now. We have an opportunity to change all the wrong that's in our city right now. It's unfortunate it's a death like this that happens, but we cannot let this young man die in vain. We all have to be together and prove it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to call the next speakers. Judy Washington. Come on up. Danae Desta Tafre, are you here? Danae. Tafari Bain. Tafari Bain, are you here? Brent Page. Brent Page. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Judy Washington. I came all the way from Houston, Texas, to support Nipsey Hussle. Thank you. I came not only just because of residents from Houston, Texas, but I would like to speak for residents from all over the world. Nipsey may not have impacted each and every individual around the world, but he've impacted most of individuals in each one of parts of the world. Nipsey made a valid point in his life. He done a lot of great things, and I've met him, but I do not know him personally. But I do have friends that do. And I am in full support of Nipsey Hussle Square replacing Slauson and Crenshaw Boulevard. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Good morning.
Hello. My name is Danite Desta Tafera, and I am here from Washington, D.C. I work with the African Union Diaspora Initiative based in D.C., and Nipsey was the person that we wanted to use to engage and to build a bridge between Africans and African Americans. For us, sorry, I'm gonna try to read a note that I wrote for something else, not for this. Yeah, we as African Americans from everywhere, we as Eritrean Americans, Ethiopian Americans, and all African diaspora in the US collectively stand for this. Rehabilitating an area where no one wants to go, creating STEM for people who never will get the opportunity, and also telling our history for the people that look like us but that don't know where they come from. He was the man, and we need a place to come get motivated, get energized.
Thank you, ma'am.
We need a place to come.
Thank you very much.
And do this.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Tafari Bain. I was born in South LA and raised on Slauson. Nipsey has left an indelible mark on our city and has set a new standard when it comes to investing in your own community, no matter how successful you may become. I'm excited to continue to carry his torch with projects like Destination Crenshaw. The only way we can attempt to make up for the census act that took him from us is by making him immortal with acts like this. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brent Page. I'm the chairman of the Southwest Area Neighborhood Council, resident of the 8th District. Thank you. Here to support my councilman, Councilmember Harris Dawson, in support of renaming the intersection of Crenshaw and Slauson, Nipsey Hussle Square. I've watched Nipsey Hussle from the beginning. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, but migrated to the area of Manchester and Western. And I watched him take rival neighborhoods and bring them together, which is things that I probably wouldn't have thought about when I moved here. So let's not let his death be in vain, and let's continue this honor of Nipsey Hussle. Thank you.
Speakers is Reverend Dr. Mello. Are you here? Followed by William Correa, Ramon Dukes, and Dr. Priscilla Reed. Good morning.
Hi, it's been a while since I've been here. I am, of course, in favor of the square, but more importantly, I'm more in favor of our city council, Curran Price, Marquise Harris Dawson, Herb Wesson, Joe Buscaino, and Weezar to follow in his footsteps. He gave felons jobs. He helped with homeless. He helped with the kids. And you guys have our tax money every year, and for 6 years I've been asking for a resource center for them. And Nipsey, he sat there in our neighborhood and giving tangible resources. He didn't give us prayers and well wishes. He actually built. And so I'd like for us to continue in building a STEM resource center in Manchester, Vermont as well, since that property is being tied up by Eli Sassouni and District 8 as well as Mark Ridley Thomas. So these kids need freedom, they need space, and please honor him by action, not in words. That's the most important thing. Thank you.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Hello, thank you. My name is William Correa. I'm a LA native, 4th generation, and a success story from the Crenshaw district as well. Utilizing entertainment industry to make my way out of the street life. Ended up a co-founder of a nonprofit organization that actually provides at-risk youth, mentorship and education. And we just need that support. We need something that we could look at, kind of like the squares that are in different parts of the neighborhood as well. We need something that we could point to our next generation and say, look what he did, and look what we could do, and be able to take the time to invest in our next generation, to provide them the safe platform to community expression and development. We need the leadership and we need the support. So I really do support the Nipsey Hussle Square, and I hope the whole council, everybody does as well. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Council. My name is Ramon Dukes. I am a executive in the music industry over the past 20 years plus. I've had the opportunity of knowing Nipsey for about 10 years plus when I was earlier in my career. It's very important that we uplift these young men and women, specifically from the culture who comes from these environments, because they're inspiring the youth nowadays today. We had a gentleman who came up here earlier who said that he wasn't alive, or he was too young to know the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, etc. I had 2 young kids, and they look up to these music artists. They're their new civil rights heroes. And it's my job and members of the community, along with my colleague Shaheem Reed, to protect them and to uplift them and make it make sense that it's important what they meant to this industry and what they meant to the world. Nipsey Hussle was, aside from being a great music artist, he was a great husband, he was a great father, and we have to support and protect those young black men in these communities. I completely support the Nipsey Hussle Square. Thank you.
Go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Priscilla Reed, and I am a youth empowerment representative for the South Central Los Angeles. I'm here today to represent our district, which is District 8, and to support our city councilman, Marquise Dotson Harris, and also to let the people know that Nipsey is deserving. He worked hard for this square to be named after him. When we first started the youth empowerment movement over on Manchester and Western throughout the community day, Nipsey was one of the ones that came to me, and I preached to them about, if you don't like the police, then become the police. Then if somebody messes up your community, it's you. Also, I taught them don't sell drugs, sell water. So Nipsey was one of the ones that would go out and actually tell people, sell the water. People support the kids. If you see kids out selling water, support them. They're not selling drugs, they're selling parts of life. Also, we taught the girls.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to call the next speakers. Raheem Reed, you here? And Amarie Clark. Wintana Melican.
Good morning, everybody. My
Hold on
name is
for just a
Shaheem
sec.
Reed.
Sir, hold on for just a second. Let me
Okay.
finish calling a couple of more names. Wintana Melican, are you here? Dillard Saunders? Dillard Saunders, are you here? Dr. Holder? Okay, go ahead, sir.
My name is Shaheem Reed. I've come all the way from New York City. Journalist. Thank you. I'm a journalist in the hip-hop community. I've done interviews with all of the biggest stars. I've known Nipsey for over 10 years, and I can tell you I've never seen a story quite like him. We have so many rappers and artists that they rap and, as well as being activists. Nipsey was an activist who happened to rap. His music was genius, but his biggest calling was for the community, not just in Los Angeles, but for worldwide. We went to the memorial yesterday. We went to the procession. We saw gang members, Bloods and Crips, dancing together. We saw the police encouraging and showing love to black men and women, and we know that the community relations with the police haven't always been the best. It's all because of Nipsey. He's been the biggest beacon of hope for black people since Barack Obama, and we definitely have to name this square after him, and we have to also implement school programs that show his philosophies as well. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Anne Marie Clark, and I'm here on behalf of Vector 90, Nipsey Hussle's co-working space in the Crenshaw District. He was all of our friends, and we all have been devastated with everything that has transpired these past few weeks. However, I've personally sat in meetings with him and his business partner, David Gross, and he was genuinely interested and completely hands-on in making his community better. And we would be more than grateful to have the intersection of Crenshaw and Slauson be changed to Nipsey Hussle Square and allow the marathon to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Your name, ma'am? Your name for the record?
Huh?
Your name, please?
Oh, yeah, Wintana Melican.
Thank you.
My name is Wintana Melican. I'm here from St. Paul, Minnesota. I didn't plan to speak today. I met Nipsey when I was a teenager. I was an intern at a radio station, and I wrote him a message on MySpace. He responded. He did an interview with me. He actually connected me with close to a dozen other people in the industry while I worked in entertainment for the next decade. I transitioned out of entertainment. I went to school. I studied marketing. And if it wasn't for Nipsey's music, I don't know if I would have got through college. After that, I went on to work in politics. I've managed congressional races, mayoral races, and Nipsey's music is the music I play every day when I walk into a convention or to a city council hearing. It's the music that gets me through life. And it's such an honor to see, you know, the folks of LA stand up for him. And I just want everyone to know that, you know, St. Paul, Minnesota, all the way on the other side of the world, well, side of the country, is also standing with Nipsey. So thank you for doing this, and I hope it gets a unanimous vote from this council.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm a little under the weather. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I am Goddess of the Morning Star, also known as Miss Dillard Saunders. I am also from Minnesota. I live in Minneapolis. It was a pleasure to see Wintana here. This young lady works very, very hard. She's working on everything. I'm here because of everything that Ermias did outside of the studio. To be honest with you, I actually wasn't listening to his music. I didn't start listening to his music until after he was assassinated in these streets. We need to know exactly what this is. This was an assassination, okay? I hope that you up here who have the power to make this change, I hope you can see him how I did, how amazing he was outside of the studio. I hope you can. Somebody else brought up action. That's what we need. I don't expect for people who don't look like me to care about my community or to actually do something pertaining to my community, but this is a small step in the right direction. And if you are about the wave, if you are about making history, at least do this for us.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Is it Shadi Elbastiwasi? Shadi Elbastiwasi? Followed by Anton Smith. Followed by Mr. Jackson Neeson. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. First, I want to prayers go out to the family.
Just your name, sir, for the record.
Shadi El
Thank you
Bastawisi.
so much. Thank you.
Prayers out to the family. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. And I didn't plan anything to speak. I just wanted to let everybody know that we can't just be sitting and waiting for events like this to happen. We got to start taking action. And we can't wait for another individual to die tragically for everybody to show up. We got to start taking bigger steps. We got to start just doing things proactively and not just waiting for just terrible things to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Anton Smith and Mr. Jackson Neeson. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Anton Smith. I'm one of the designers working on the Destination Crenshaw project. I had the pleasure of meeting Nipsey Hussle and being inspired by all of the work and ambition that he's had over the last 2 years for our community, for his own endeavors, and for his vision that extends well beyond the limits of the project. Since 2000, 240 people have been murdered in Hyde Park. Nipsey's death is the most recent of those murders. Within that intersection, I know of personally 3 murders that have happened at that intersection. I'm sure there are many more. This is more than just calling it a square. We really need to do something more about our community, our neighborhoods, making them safe, making them hospitable, giving them opportunities for education and enlightenment. So we fully support this motion.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. You're Miss Jackson Neeson?
Yes.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Tondi Seasway Jackson Nissen, and I'm from North Minneapolis, Minnesota. There is a lot of trauma in our communities, and that's not just in the United States, but Black and brown communities all over the world. Post-traumatic slave trauma after Reconstruction, we had civil trauma from the civil rights movement, and then police brutality after that and everything in between that. I think that a lot of people are surprised about all of the love that's being shown for Nipsey Hussle, whether you came from Texas or Minnesota or Colorado. But for us, it's not common to have somebody with that type of power, money, and influence be a lover. Nipsey Hussle was a lover, he was a healer, he was an entrepreneur, and he was not only doing what he needed to do for him and his family, but he was funneling it back into the community.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, your time is up. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to call the next speakers. Tara Perry, Paul Wilson, Rhea J., and Jonathan Bryan. Are you here?
We get 1 minute?
Yes, you have 1 minute. Good
Hi, I'm
morning.
Tara Perry. I'm a resident of District 8 as well as I work in District 8. I am a new supporter of Nipsey Hussle, and I love his music. Now that he's gone, it's unfortunate. And I am very much in approval. I'm sorry. I also want to send my heartfelt condolences to the family. And he meant so much to our community. I'm sorry, try not to get emotional, but I'm very much in favor of renaming the square after Ermias Ascadon. And I would hope that this council will put their money where their mouth is and allow for funding and go beyond that and beyond symbolic, but allow for funding for the people of the community to continue to buy up the Crenshaw district as Nipsey Hussle did. And he doesn't need to be the only one who's doing that and being our example for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Paul Wilson. I'm here from Harlem, New York. Real quick, when I met Nipsey when he first came to New York, I document a lot of the rappers that come from all over the world, and Nip was one of the first persons to give you a genuine feel of like, you're with him. So what I just want to say, I'm totally in favor of renaming it Nipsey Hussle Square, Neighborhood Nip. You know what it is, holla.
Thank you very much.
My name is Jonathan Bryan. Oh, sorry about that. I'm from the Jungles, Baldwin Hills. We also have Crenshaw that runs down our street. All praise to the family. I respect you guys. Nipsey Hussle, I also had the opportunity to meet him a few times, and his message was for people like me, people that was from the streets and did so much and had so much energy to corrupt our neighborhood. We need to use that same energy to uplift our neighborhood. This man has set a fire in me that I cannot sit down. I work at Jim Gilliam Park, or I also work for an agency called Hopix. We're out there in the streets helping the homeless get attached to housing. But through this agency, I was blessed with the opportunity to bless my neighborhood, to assist people in my neighborhood, to let people in my neighborhood that used to run when they see me actually come and greet me and hug me and hold me. It's gonna take people like us and people like Nipsey. It's taking us to take our neighborhood back, to let us have a place, a person that we can look at and look up to and understand that just because we came from this street, we don't have to leave. This is our neighborhood just as much as it is for the other people that control the streets. We control our own streets, and Nipsey said that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Rhea J. Mr. Sachs, I haven't called your name yet.
I understand that, Madam Chair.
Okay, then please take a seat. We've got guests here that signed up. I'm going to call your name in just a second. Thank you for... Well, people are here, sir. People signed up just like you did. So can you please sit down? Thank you. Rhea J. Sorry about that. Come on up. Good morning.
Hello, Mayor, Council, City of Los Angeles County. Rhea Johnson from the Upper West Coast. I'm here just supporting on behalf of my community. You know, there's a lot of people that wish that they could be here, so I just wanted to pay my respect to the family and the things that's going on here. Very proud of the cleanup crew, because I went back this morning to try to help, and everything was taken care of, so I appreciate everything that's going on, and I look forward to your guys' future.
Thank you. Okay, the next speakers are Wayne Spindler, Arnold Sachs, Armando Herman, and Maria Camacho.
Did you want it in order, ma'am?
Yeah, in order, please. Thank you. Wayne Spindler, Arnold Sachs, Armando Herman, and Maria Camacho.
That's right. Thank you so much, gangsters. All right. What we got here? Look at your face, Curran. Look at your face, Marchese. What was going on with those emails to Steve Soboroff, man? And now this guy's found how? What's up? What was this guy going to talk to LAPD about? What was he going to say? That's what they want to know. Now, you can name your intersections after anybody you want to name, but there's a message. Snitches get stitches. That's the message. And I don't give a fuck what it is. Italian, I come from Italian, Jewish, whatever the fuck it is, man. You got to take care of your people first. Take care of your people first. Love God, but take care of your people first. This is a tragedy.
Arnold Sachs, followed by Armando Herman and Maria Camacho.
Yes, thank you. Good
morning.
Good morning. Arnold Ross Sachs from Redondo Beach, but moving around the city. First things first, if you're listening and you're concerned about where funding goes, the city will be having their budget discussions in a couple of weeks. My suggestion, invite Brian Darcy from DWP to come sit at this table right here to find out how DWP operates. For 10 years, they've been doing crap, and nobody's ever paid any attention. Get him in here. Now, this honor, I never met the man, but I got to tell you, I'm Jewish. So first things first, if I heard somebody on the radio saying, Jew bitch, Jew bitch, Jew bitch, Jew bitch, Jew bitch, it'd be insulting. I'd be insulted. Second thing, there used to be a guy in here named Michael Hunt running around with a t-shirt. Insulting. Never saw Mr. Russell here at all. Never saw Mr. Hustle. Saw Miss Mello here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sachs. Your time is up. Mr. Sachs, I need you to sit down. Sergeants, can you please show Mr. Sachs to his seat? Thank you. Sir, excuse me. Sir, I need you to sit down. All of you need to sit down, please.
This is what you create, an atmosphere of hostility as opposed to creating gentrification out of our communities. You allowed yourselves to push us assholes out of our neighborhoods because you didn't want to listen. You didn't want us to hustle our lives in our community, so you push our white ass out. That's why that motherfucking Jose Weezer wetback sits in here with his mouth shut. Because that motherfucker brought the FBI in here to investigate why you're criminalizing a nigga like me, Weezer, when you kicked me out of my community, you bitch. You a wetback bitch. Right to your motherfucking face. 42 U.S.C. 1983, fuck the police.
Ms. Camacho, thank you. Come on up. I'm going to call 3 more speakers, and I'm going to go ahead and close general public comment because we need to get moving on the special motion that I'm sure you're all here for. After Ms. Camacho speaks, Pat Barrett, are you here? Pat Barrett, Julia Smith, and Mario de la Torre. You are the last speakers, and I will close general public comment after Mr. de la Torre. Go ahead.
And Madam President, pardon me, for clarification, a special one has been posted and circulated.
Very well, thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. God bless you. My name is Maria Camacho. I was born in Mexico, but I was raised on Victoria and Hyde Park. I just wanted to say that I'm all in favor for the Nipsey Hussle. I'm a little nervous after that reckless that happened, Square. And I just want to say that I was a victim of human trafficking, and I was trying to make a change and reach out to him. Maybe my plans didn't go like I wanted, but I just want to say that we have to spread love. We have to stop hating each other. Like he said in his music, the black and brown, and if it's time to team up, let's begin. Let's stop hating each other and loving each other, because that's what Nipsey Hussle wanted. He wanted each other to come together. Bloods and Crips, when have you seen that happen? Come on, these are rivals we're talking about that came together. He did that. He made that happen. Let's not let his name go in vain like everybody else said. Let's spread love, and let's start from today. Like he was one of the few ones to talk the talk and walk the walk. Let's do that with him.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. Hello. My name is Pat Barrett. I live in downtown LA, and I've been a resident here for 8 years. I'm really in favor of the intersection for Nipsey Hussle because hopefully it'll spread some good. Unlike what these councilmen did, 10 out of 2 voted for Mitchell versus the city of LA, and it's destroying our city and extending Skid Row. There was 2 nice people that voted against Mitchell versus the City of LA, which is destroying and bringing crimes against our city. And Skid Row, the Bloods and the Cribs have a truce that they're not going to fight because there's so much business there, and they extended, again, Skid Row. So please, please vote for peace, vote for Nipsey Hussle for his intersection, and declare a day for him. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Julia Smith, and I am a SEIU 2015 member organizer. Mr. Dawson, you know very well that we fought very hard to put you in office. And I've gone to a lot of meetings, and unfortunately, I've heard a lot of your constituents are disappointed. And I still defended you because I fought hard. I've knocked on hundreds of the doors. And a lot of times when I'm out there and I'm trying to get the community engaged and I'm trying to encourage young people to vote, they say, why should I listen to you? Who cares what you think? Who cares about Maxine Waters? You guys are all dinosaurs. And I asked them and I plead with them and I said, well, who would you listen to? And they told me Nipsey Hussle. So I know that I'm moving in the right direction. And he's moving in the right direction, and I hope that one day our paths would cross so I could, share this story with him, but I didn't have the opportunity to do so. So I'm telling you, I want you to continue to extend yourself to this community, and this is a message to all of you members. We can no longer be anti-gay.
Ma'am, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. The last speaker that I called was Mario De La Torre. Is he here? Mario, you're not here? Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and... Are you here?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mario De La Torre. I'm from 60th. I grew up there. Nipsey Hussle was a true leader. He was an agent of change. I'm 40 and I looked up to him. I mean, this is real. Like, we're broken hearted. Like, we're killing the ones that we're supposed to protect the most. And Nipsey, he was a brother. He was my brother. He was everybody's brother. He was, like they say, your brother's keeper. He was one of those people that just looked out for everyone. And I'm definitely in favor of naming that square after Nipsey Hussle. But not only that, but we got to celebrate him. You know, he was all about respect. And I'm from LA. These are our roots. And I just want to give thanks to you guys for acknowledging him. And I just want to tell everybody here, like, let's respect him and let's love him.
Thank you very much,
You know?
sir. Thank you. And with that, that closes general public comment. Mr. Clerk, let's go ahead and go back to items 1 and 5. I think we have a couple more speakers. On item number 1, Antonia Ramirez, are you still here? Can you please come up? You're speaking on item 1 and item 5, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, this is a price we pay for fighting for the rule of law.
Item number 1 and number 5, ma'am.
Right. One moment, please. Bear with me here. All the drama. Item number 1. We are saying that, again, Building and Safety Department are not doing enough to combat these nuisance abatement liens. They're not enforcing the rule of law, and they're not complying with these liens and these follow-ups. What they need to do is enforce and follow up on all these violations. And they should conduct these inspections not on an annual basis, but on a weekly basis. We've got too much nuisance. We've got a lot of trash. We've got a lot of filth. We've got a lot of just street decay. It needs to be corrected. Look at Los Angeles. It stinks. Even a woman from Korea came out and said Los Angeles stinks. It's ugly. It's filthy. And we need more building and safety department personnel to go out there and clean up the fucking city. We got too many fucking gangbangers and wetbacks destroying the city, and we've got too much noise nuisance. Toxic nuisance. The city is an urban blight. The city is a toxic urban blight. We got too many fucking gangbangers destroying homes and destroying cities and communities and people. We need the city to fucking enforce the rule of law, and that is inspect and put the fuckers in jail, deport the motherfucking wetbacks and gangbangers, and put the other junkies in fucking rehab, and clean up the fucking city. It's a mess.
You're done. Thank you very much.
Having said that,
Ms. Ramirez, I need you to stick to the items. You go
Thank
off
you.
on other
Thank
tangents.
you
I
very
need you to
much.
stick to the items you signed up for.
and budget, ma'am, I'll go to item number 5, budget. Ladies, again, you're not keeping within the realms of your budget.
And your time is up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Ramirez. Members of the public, welcome to the United States of America. And this is called freedom of speech, unfortunately. This is what happens. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and take up item number 1, Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, there has been a request from the department for items 1A, 1C, 1D,
Hold on.
1E.
Members of the public, I need you to please, we're going to get to your item and why you're here. We need to finish our regular meeting. Mr. Sergeants, can you please go help Ms. Ramirez out of the building? Mr. Herman, take a seat. Ms. Ramirez? Can you please escort Ms. Ramirez out of the council chamber? She's causing commotion in the back of the room and continues to disrupt this meeting. Members of the public. No. I really need everyone to take their seats. Ms. Ramirez is being escorted out of our council chambers. I need everyone to please remain in their seats. Thank you. Okay, I need you guys. Excuse me. I need you guys to please take your seats and let me continue to run through the meeting so we can get to your item. Let's be respectful of the family and why we're here. I understand there are uncomfortable comments that were made, but unfortunately, that is what we have to put up here every time someone comes to the microphone. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and vote on item number 1, Mr. Clerk.
And Madam President, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that for items 1A, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, 1G, and 1H, that the liens be reduced $4 and subsequently confirmed, and that for items 1I and 1J, that the matters be received and filed in as much as ownership for the subject properties has changed.
Okay, very well. Without objection, that will be the order. Let's go ahead and vote on the remaining balance of item number 1. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, let's move on to item number 5. There's one speaker on item number 5, Mr. Anderson Guys. Are you here? Mr. Anderson Guys. I don't see anyone by that name. That concludes speakers on item number 5. Let's go ahead and vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
And Madam President, again, that's as amended by 5A and 5B.
Correct. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our special item 1. Mr. Harris Dawson, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you for everybody who's given testimony on item 1.
I am asking my colleagues here on the Los Angeles City Council to take the unusual step of making findings that allow us to vote on this matter today, and today take a vote that we'll send to the mayor to declare Slauson and Crenshaw Nipsey Hussle Square. The public comment demonstrated the urgency for needing to take a vote today. We have literally people in our city from all over the world who've come to mourn, who've come to celebrate, and we want to be able to say that in their presence while they were here and the family is here, we want to close this matter and get it done. And so I ask you to support the findings so that we can take a vote today.
So you just made the findings for this item, is that correct, Mr.
Yes.
Harris-Dawson? There are 2 votes on this matter before us. Members, let's go ahead and vote on the findings on special 1. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Okay, the matter is now before us. Actually,
Madam President, that matter is now before council.
that matter is before us. We haven't finalized the vote. So can you please sit
Hold up.
down?
Yeah, hold up.
We haven't finalized the vote. There are
Yeah,
there
that
are
wasn't
two
the
guest
actual
speakers.
vote. This is the actual vote, right?
But before we take the actual votes, I'm still presiding over this meeting.
Yeah, there you go.
Before we take the actual vote, we have 2 guest speakers that would like to provide public comment. And I'm going to call the president of the LA Unified School District, Monica Garcia, who's here. She had to leave. Okay. So now we have Brett Robinson, who comes from Senator Kamala Harris's office. Are you here? Welcome, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you. My name is Brent Robinson. I'm the Los Angeles District Director for United States Senator Kamala Harris, and I'm here on her behalf to read a condolence letter to the family. To the family of Ermias Joseph Ascadon, please accept my dearest condolences for the loss of your son, your brother, your father, and your partner. The hearts of so many in our state are broken by this terrible tragedy and sudden loss. Ermias was an inspiration for so many in California and throughout our country. His commitment to empowering communities across South Los Angeles embodies a spirit of activism, leadership, and service that will forever inspire future generations in their pursuit for justice. I know words offer little comfort in the wake of such tragedy, but I hope that the fond memories you shared with Ermias help you find comfort during this difficult period. Sincerely yours, Kamala D. Harris, United States Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Harris-Dawson. Before we speak on the motion, we do have 2 other cards, which I have to take. Armando Herman and Arnold Sachs. Mr. Sachs, are you in the back? I'm going to ask the members of the public.
Ladies and gentlemen, the liens that you're hearing today are an action of extortion.
You're not
An
on
action
the
of-
liens, Mr.
pardon
Herman. You're on special item number 1, which is what you signed up for.
Well, none of us here are in opposition to rename Lipsy Square. None of us. We're all in favor. I, too, am here in support and to thank the artists, the music, the language. I appreciate talent, expertise, and community advocacy, because I, too, am an advocate. But today, we're speaking gracefully and honoring a man who should be respected. Mr. Hussle has done a lot in his community, more than I ever expected in my part to do in Boyle Heights, Mr. Weezar. But in good effort.
Time is up, Mr. Herman. Thank you very much. Mr. Arnold Sachs? On special item 1, Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon again, Arnold Ross Sachs. Yes, again, I did not know the man, and I appreciate all the accolades that he's getting. So again, my question is on a history, Ms. Harris didn't mention anything about him when she was inducted. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he was at her swearing-in party. The mayor didn't have her at his swearing-in. You didn't play any of his music this morning. I'm asking a question.
I'm asking the members of the public, please.
I am being respectful as I can be. I'm just pointing out that with all of his accomplishments would have preceded him over this time frame. You would have heard more of him in the city council. And yet the only people who hear of him are street rapping activists. And I have no problem with that. The problem is, what is his legend gonna be?
Thank you, Mr. Harris. You're done. All right, we're done with Mr. Harris Dawson. Members of the public, I need you to please help me out. Members of the public, that's the last card on this item, Mr. Harris Dawson. The motion is now before us. Before Mr. Harris Dawson closes on this item, Mr. Price, did you have something to say?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, to the family, our condolences and our apologies for this disrespectful. Condolences to the family, and we apologize for the disrespectful conduct of some of the speakers. Mr. Harris Dawson, thank you for this motion. I'm honored and proud to support it. You know, recognizing the death and the life of a real community hero, Nipsey Russell was that. And his support is not just from millennials and fans of hip hop, but also us senior citizens have come to admire his willingness to put his money where his mouth was, to support community development, to support economic development, to supporting businesses and human capital, making things happen. You know, unfortunately, the Friday before the untimely event, I was at a vigil on 54th and Vermont, 54th and Vermont, with neighbors, with clergy, with the police, lamenting the gun violence we've been experiencing in South LA. The last several weeks, there have been over 13, 14 murders, just totally unacceptable. And while we know that the death of Nipsey was not gang-related, so we've been informed, his death is just unacceptable. Gun violence is a real scourge that we all have to address and face. So I just want to say that we all have a responsibility to work together, to pull together. And I think that the demonstration that we've had today, the outpouring of support that occurred yesterday, can't go away. It hopefully will remain, and we will reflect on it as we move forward. So as I said, Madam President, I'm honored, Mr. Dawson, to join you in this motion. We do know that his was a legacy of one community, one hope, and one pride, no matter what area you grew up in. And so those should be lasting memories for us. And in the eloquent words of his mother yesterday at the service, the marathon continues. Thank you.
Back to you, Mr. Harris Dawson.
Madam Chair, thank you, members, for being a part of this part celebration, part activism, and part continuing the marathon in real life and in real time. I'll ask you all for an enthusiastic aye vote on renaming Crenshaw and Slauson Nipsey Hussle Square. I'm proud to present this motion along with Council Members Price and Council Members Wesson. We had several seconds on the motion. I'll ask all of the supporters of Nipsey Hussle to remain with us for a few minutes. We'll take a vote. I expect the vote to be successful. And then I'll ask Madam Chairwoman if we can adjourn this meeting in the memory of Nipsey Hussle and enter his work into the permanent records of the city of Los Angeles. And so if you'll bear with us, for that after this vote, we can complete our business here today and honor Nipsey Hussle in the way that he deserved.
Thank you very much. And now that item is before us. Mr. Clerk, can you open the roll? Close the roll and tabulate the votes.
11 ayes.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Clerk, what's before us?
Madam President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
Posted and referred.
The desk is clear.
Okay, members, are there any announcements? Seeing none, can we please all rise for adjourning motions? Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. It is with an extremely heavy heart that I ask that we adjourn our business today in the memory of one Ermias Askadam, also known as Nipsey Hussle. We recount the particulars of his career for the record. Nipsey was a Grammy-nominated music icon and popular hip-hop artist. He was a West Coast hero who spent his resources and his life giving back to the community. I'm going to give a second for the family of Ermias to join me at the podium. We lost Ermias on March 31st, 2019, at the tender age of 33 years, in front of his clothing store that within the last 60 days he had acquired the property on which it sat. He was born on August 15th, 1985, and raised in the Hyde Park neighborhood of South Los Angeles. His father, David, was the only family member to migrate to the United States from Eritrea, and he met here in the United States Angelique, and together they had two sons, Samuel, Black Sam, and Ermias Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey attended schools in the Los Angeles Unified School District. I will note that the president of the school board was here, but had to leave. He attended Markham Elementary School, John Burroughs Middle School, and Hamilton High School. His music career began when he started selling mixtapes in the parking lots and street corners throughout Los Angeles. About 15 years before we figured out that we should make street vending legal, Nipsey Hussle realized it was the way to do business in the city of Los Angeles. In 2005, Hussle put out his first mixtape entitled Slauson Boys. Community members recall fondly him being there, selling tapes, selling CDs out of a trunk of a car, along with his brother selling T-shirts and socks out of parking lots. In 2010, his acclaimed Bullets Ain't Got No Name Volume 2 received the extremely coveted notoriety of landing on the cover of Freshman XXL magazine, a major milestone for any hip-hop artist. To this day, it is one of their best and most sought-after covers. In 2013, realizing as the rest of the world watched, the music business dramatically changed, and when there was Napster and you could start streaming music, Nipsey realized as a superior business person that music was free and that really what you were selling was an experience. And so in his next mixtape, what he said is there are only going to be 1,000 copies, but each copy is going to cost $100. And everybody thought that was a laughable idea because every other album cost about $12 or $13, whether you bought it online or you went to the store to buy it. Well, within hours, Nipsey Hussle sold all 1,000 CDs, and he sold all 1,000 CDs for $100 within hours, and changed the way people look at how you market music here in the United States and around the world. That action and that marketing and that guerrilla style and approach to the music business landed him in Forbes magazine and Money magazine and the Wall Street Journal as a pioneer for how business should be done. In February of last year, when the NBA All-Star Week was here, he released the Victory Lap album, his first studio album. And I'll just say, this is my editorial comment. This was the first album that he did with a big record company, but it wasn't as if the big record companies hadn't wanted to work with him before. I remember him telling me they would give me these contracts assuming that I wasn't going to read them. And so he said, you know, can you believe one of these contracts, the record company wanted to own my name that I made up and that I built up. I would have to give it to the record company in order to make a deal, and that wasn't a deal he was going to accept. And so as he built his career and as he built his customer base, he was able to make a deal that was, again, groundbreaking in the way artists related to record companies and record companies related to artists. Also, as he continued to build, again, the experience, created the Marathon Company. Marathon Company, all of the members of the city council who were here in 2015 for Christmas, you got a Crenshaw shirt from the Marathon store as a Christmas gift from the council member of the 8th District. But what the Marathon represents is much more than selling T-shirts and pushing the brand Crenshaw. What it represents is the notion that as our community creates culture and the world consumes culture, our community ought to benefit from that culture. And so what happens all too often with African American culture is it gets created in the African American community and everybody in the world benefits from it except for the neighborhoods that it was created in. So Nipsey said, I'm going to make people come here. No matter what the news says about how dangerous it is and how hard it is to get here, I'm going to force people to come to our community, and I'm going to force them to spend money here. Because he understood, without going to economic school, that when we leave our community and we go to Culver City to buy things and we go to Fairfax and Melrose, no disrespect to Mr. Koretz, but when we go there, that helps the tax base of another community. It doesn't help our tax base, right? But if people have to come here and spend, it helps us get better sidewalks, and it helps us get better services, and it helps help us build the kind of community that we all deserve. That album, the Victory Lap album, was nominated for Best Rap Album, which is an amazing feat for your first time as a major studio record. Even though it did not prevail as the Grammy Award winner, it was by far the most critically acclaimed album of that year. I met Nipsey Hussle several years back at about 8 o'clock in the morning at Crenshaw High School. There was going to be a rally, ironically enough, pushing back and opposing gun violence. And I remember folks saying, Nipsey Hussle's going to be at this rally. And I said, well, he has a show the night before. He's not going to be at a rally at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so I got there. I didn't have a show the night before. I got a good night's sleep. I got there, and Nipsey was already there with his daughter, waiting for the rally to start, and a trunk full of CDs and T-shirts ready for sale. He had made a special T-shirt for the action. And I met him there, and he started to tell his story and what he wanted to build and how he wanted to build and how he wanted to connect. And at that very moment, you knew that you were dealing with someone that you were only going to see once in a lifetime, someone that understood and was a superior cultural leader that knew how to speak to people that most people can't get through to. And at the same time, he understood the big, complex concepts and trends that we deal with in our world today. So we have this problem in the community that we get low quality products sometimes, right? So if you go in the supermarket, you don't quite get what you get somewhere else. And so, economists write papers on that, and they publish articles about that, and they write books about that. What Nipsey did is he made up a movement called Proud to Pay, right? And he said, if you're going to buy something in our community, you ought to pay full price for it. Because when you pay full price in your own community, that's how you build your community. Don't look for a discount just because you're dealing with your brother or your sister. He also created the movement and the companies called All Money In, No Money Out, right? If we create something, we need to bring people to our community to consume it. And so as he did that, as he began to understand gentrification and how it works, he was very clear. The only way you can stop this is if we buy this property and we hold it for us. And so he started trying to buy properties one by one by one by one. And we were very, very excited at the end of last year when that very parking lot that the owner used to try to kick him out of when he was selling tapes and T-shirts, that the other merchants didn't like them being here. And a merchant that I remember him talking to me about that morning, he said, you know, there's this hamburger store in our neighborhood, and they took the chairs and tables out of the hamburger store. And he said, I went and I asked the owner, why did you take the tables and chairs out of the store? And he said, the owner told me, he said, because I don't want people hanging out in my shop. I want people to have to get their burger and leave. And I remember him saying, can you believe somebody would say that about us or do that to us? Well, before he passed away, Nipsey Hussle was that burger vendor's landlord. And so we could go on and on with stories about Vector 90 and what an amazing breakthrough that is, that we invite all of you to come to at one time or another, the co-working space, the pioneering co-working space in South Los Angeles and in the Hyde Park neighborhood, the host of businesses from a hair business to a barbershop to a fish place, just whatever our community needs and whatever we wanted and we're prepared to consume. Nipsey either started the business or he helped someone get it started and realize their vision. The Marathon store is the first smart store. When you go to the Marathon store, you can pull out your phone and you point it at a sign inside the store and you hear a song from Nipsey Hussle that you can only hear there. So you got to come to Slauson and Crenshaw in order to hear this record or to see this video. And some of the engineers who helped create those brands and create those products are with us today. And then yesterday, as we opened up a memorial service in the Staples Center, which was packed to the gills, we began the memorial with a letter from President Barack Obama. And we heard a number of tributes and a number of testimonies from his family, including his mother and father. And David is here with us today. Where did he go? Oh, there you are. Mr. Aspagan was there today, who we see in the store all the time, watching over to make sure everything's going okay, was there with us and shared. And then we did a processional through the streets of this city, some 25 miles. And you could see the news media was up in cameras for the most part, up in helicopters for the most part. And so they were showing people from, you know, long, long distances. But if you were in a car like we were, you could see a lot of the people were just bawling, crying. People as elderly people, young people, children, young adults. Some people raised defiant fists. And some people just said, we love you, to the family members and supporters that walk by. And so I'm happy today to be able, on behalf of a very extremely grateful city, to thank you all for the gift of Ermias, Granny. I'm sorry, yeah. I call you Granny because that's who you are in the record, so I feel. And Black Sam, the brother of Ermias and Samantha, the sister of Ermias, who were with him and by his side at every step of the way in every venture that he pursued. One of the things I noticed about him and always respected about him is he always brought his family with him. Any deal that he was going to do, his brother was there, his sister was there, his daughter would be there a lot of the times, and his dad would be there many of the times as well. And so on behalf of an extremely grateful city who can never, ever pay back to you what you all gave to us, I want to, again, thank you. And we extend to you a very small honor in renaming Slauson and Crenshaw Nipsey Hussle Square. And today, we adjourn our regular business in the memory of your son, Ermias Aspigan. Thank you all so much.
Mr. Harris Dawson, I just want to say thank you. That was beautiful. And to the family, on behalf of the Los Angeles City Council, please, our sincerest condolences for your loss. And I want to thank the public. As unpleasant as some of those comments were earlier, I want to thank you for your patience. We are bigger and we are better than that. Thank you very much for being here.
So, thank you so much, Madam Chair. We want to let everybody know we'll be out. I'm sorry.
Believe in yourself. Prove everybody that doubts y'all wrong. Show up every day. Stay pure. Keep your heart pure. Stay motivated. Stay inspired. Show love to your people.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
To the supporters in the audience, we'll be out on the South Lawn. We'll have a short celebration out there, and so we ask you all to join us for that celebration out on the South Lawn of Los Angeles City Hall.
Members, if there are no further business before us, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.